is my biggest concern for the Vikings heading into this Week 5 matchup with the New York Jets? We're going to talk about it at the start of today's show, then also second half of today's show. We answer questions from you Vikings fans, as I just love chopping it up with you guys and talking some football. But hey, if you guys don't want the Vikings to lose this weekend, hit that thumbs up icon. If you guys want the Vikings to beat the Jets, I'll put the goal on today's show as 725 likes. Hopefully you guys can crush that out of the ballpark. Hit that thumbs up icon if you guys want the Vikes to move to 5-0 and celebrate a 5th straight Victory Monday. So I was thinking about it. Even though I do think the Vikings are going to dismantle the New York Jets this weekend, my score prediction is 31-6. But you got to play the hypothetical. The Vikings could lose this game because Aaron Rodgers is able to figure out the Vikings defense post-snap. And what's the bread and butter with what Brian Flores likes to do? We can actually toss photos up on screen real quick of what Brian Flores likes to do defensively and why I think having Aaron Rodgers, a great post-snap processor, could be so deadly. Now, we take an example like this, just simple mug look. Vikings got their 7-8 guys lined up on the line of scrimmage. Rodgers has to pick and choose who's coming, but maybe Rodgers sees a tell on a couple of these guys, and he's like, all right, I'm able to figure it out. 7 guys are coming on this play. Boom, ball snapped. Vikings bring the house right here, and, Metellus is causing havoc. Then maybe Rodgers is able to, figure it out and just get the ball out quick to Wilson and Breece Hall. But just want to show you guys a quick example of, maybe why Rodgers would be able to figure it out. Same example here. Vikings, got that typical mug look, got all these guys lined up. Then they all bail at the last second. Rodgers, if any quarterback nowadays is able to figure it out, it's probably him. And, I think the one thing that these younger quarterbacks coming out, they're all way more talented than what they once were 5-10 years ago. But they're not the same processors as these older guys like Rodgers. So that is where I'm a little concerned. But this Vikings defense, if you're able to stop this run game for New York, you should be very successful. So, again, I'm not really too worried about this actually happening, but it is a concern I had in my head. But if you're able to take away the run game, as the Vikings are second in the rushing defense so far, I don't anticipate Rodgers to go light it up and throw for 303, as he hasn't done that in about 2 or 3 years. But there are 2 guys you got to take away. So, Rodgers, he's trying to replicate what he had with Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson, and it's just not going well. 20 receptions, 191 yards through 4 games for Wilson. That was definitely not the start he thought he was going to have. Only 1 touchdown as well. And then also Breece Hall, 56 carries, 174 yards. The Jets have had no rushing offense, at least consistently, this season. Now, I do have his little heat map from the game against the Denver Broncos, where the Jets were just awful in this game. Only put up 9 points against Denver and ended up losing at home. But you guys see his heat map right here. A lot of it is to the left around the line of scrimmage. And as we know, same guy that was in Green Bay, he loves doing that. Quickly get the ball out fast to his playmakers. I think the Vikings are obviously going to look at this. They're going to press up, get really aggressive, but Rodgers isn't the same guy who's going to start taking chances. And I think the Vikings defense will dominate. I think big takeaway after this game, I said against the Packers, I think our big takeaway is going to be this offense is legit. This is a top 5 offense, no doubt about it. And, I feel pretty confident saying the Vikings proved that. But this weekend, I think the storyline after the game is going to be this Vikings defense just had Rodgers seeing ghosts. And I will say this. I haven't mentioned this on a show this week. This is a double revenge game for the Vikings. The New York Jets, you guys know who they cut? I think it was probably 2005, 2006. They actually cut a quarterback. You know who his name was? It was Kevin O'Connell. You know who they also let go? Who was also a quarterback, who's now quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings? Sam Darnold. Just keep that in mind heading into this weekend. But I'll ask you guys this. Does Aaron Rodgers scare you still? This is not the same A-Rod. This is a older A-Rod who doesn't like to take chances. But you guys let me know. Does Rodgers scare you? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down below. Question coming in from my man Skull Nation saying, would you trade for Davante Adams? That answer is no. Pretty simple here. Let's just say if Addison, for example, if Addison got suspended for the whole year because of his off-the-field problems this offseason, I would be all in on trading for Davante Adams. But I don't want to trade for him, move Addison to the wide receiver 3 spot, hinders his development, and if the Vikings had a bigger need at receiver, I would be all in. But I'm not giving up the draft capital that necessarily we don't have just to go, put even more icing on the cake. Like, I already feel like the Vikings receiving room is a beautiful cake. It's got all types of icing. It's got the foundation in Jefferson. Davante Adams, you're just putting on more icing. Like, you're already doubling down on a strength for the Minnesota Vikings. So, in terms of trading for Davante Adams, I'm saying no. But we'll get some more questions here in a second. But first, I do want to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time. If you guys download Game Time app, use promo code CHATSPORTS. You guys will get $20 off your first purchase. As promo code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS. And you guys will get $20 off your first purchase. Now, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks and makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Now, my favorite view is the Seats View feature. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you even buy. So if you guys are trying to go to the Vikings-Lions game October 20th after the bye, download Game Time, use promo code CHATSPORTS, and you guys will get $20 off your first purchase. One last time, terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. Link for that is in the comments and description of today's show. Aaron Jones burner going, what is your record prediction for the Vikings for the rest of the season? I actually did this on a show earlier this week, and I got the Vikings going 14-3. Now, I do want to highlight a couple games that I think the Vikings can lose. And, I think the Vikings, they can win every game this year. I don't think there's a team in the NFL they can't beat. But if there's some games that concern me, it's actually week 8 versus the Rams. Now, the Rams, very depleted because of injuries, but I'm going to assume they will get healthy, get Nakua, get Kupp back, and that game is on a Thursday after the Lions game. The Lions are a very physical football team. It's going to be a very physical game. Then you got to hop on a flight Wednesday, go to LA, play a football game against a very, very smart team. Like, it is going to be very, very tough for this team to bounce back and go play a very well-coached Rams team. So I think that's going to be a tough game, but overall, I think they're going 14-3. I think maybe they lose one game to the Rams or Lions. I think you sweep the Bears, sweep the AFC South. Maybe you drop a game to the Seahawks, Falcons, or Cardinals, but I think it's going to be a 13-14 win year for the Minnesota Vikings. Z Cool, my man, saying, what do you predict we will throw KOC, the biggest extension the NFL has ever seen? Let me look this up real quick. Highest paid coaches in the NFL. I'm assuming Andy Reid will be one, and yes, he is. So Andy Reid, wow, he's getting $25 million. Sean Payton's getting $18, which is incredible. Jim Harbaugh is getting $16. McVay's getting $15. Shanahan $14. Tomlin $12.5, who just got an extension recently. So I'm gonna predict the Vikings probably give O'Connell a 5-year, $70 million deal where it's 70 divided by 5, gets him the 14. That would make him the 5th highest paid coach in the league, on par with Kyle Shanahan at $14 million a year. So that would be my early prediction. But hey, Z Cool, Vikings, they need to keep Brian Flores. Pay Brian Flores like a head coach. Make him the highest paid coordinator in the league, and I think we'll be good for the next couple of years. But Roger saying, I think the Vikings are undefeated in London. Is that the case? Yes, they are. Actually, heading into this matchup, the Vikings are 3-0 in London. You beat the Browns a while back. You beat the Steelers a while back. And then you also beat the Saints 2 years ago. So, yeah, Vikes are undefeated in London. Hopefully they keep that going. Pretty cool to be like, yeah, we're 4-0 in London. So, Roger, though, I appreciate you for tuning in. Z, what up? Saying, when are the Vikings going to throw the prevent defense book out the door and just wreck in all 4 quarters? All right, Z Cool, I don't mean to dunk on you too much, but I hate this take out there by Vikings fans that they just went prevent in the 4th quarter. You got to think about the Packers touchdowns they had. One of them came the play after a Sam Darnold strip sack, where they just threw the ball quickly out the Tucker Kraft. Vikings corners couldn't tackle. He was able to find the end zone. I don't really think that's Brian Flores' fault. Another one of their touchdowns came. Jalen Naylor tries to catch a punt over his head. They just run a little wheel route to Jaden Reed. Byron Murphy gets dunked on. I don't really think that's on Flores. And then, yes, did they go prevent for that last touchdown drive? 100%. But they were up 31-22, 3 minutes left. Packers only had one timeout. You should go prevent in that situation. I'm not going to question Flores, what he does, until I feel a need to question him. So I totally understand what you're saying, Z Cool. I just think it's kind of a bad take that Vikings fans have had that, like, oh, the defense was so bad in the fourth quarter, it's time to panic. I'm just not really too worried about it. But, and Matt coming in next question saying, I think Grugier Hill has played well enough that Pace shouldn't automatically start. What do you think? Great point. This is something I've thought about. You know, Hill has been awesome filling in for Pace. He's got 2 picks. He's got like 5 PBUs. Like, he's been fantastic. And the only thing I would disagree with you on this is I think Pace impacts the running game so much more than Hill does. And yes, Hill is a better coverage linebacker. Like, that pick he had against Jordan Love was absolutely ridiculous. He just completely pulled off and he was able to intercept the ball. So, yeah, I see what you're saying, but I still think Pace, deserves it. But Tang Yang coming in saying, thoughts on KOC playing calling on short yardage? It's been awful since he got here in 2022. I agree. Like, if there has been one thing that I disagree or have had a problem with O'Connell is his short yard play calling, as I think he does get too cute in spots, but also he's had good moments. Like, he's had beautifully designed plays on 3rd and short, 4th and short. But I think just us Vikings fans, we just always get a little too critical. And also, like, if you're talking about that Jalen Naylor, it was Naylor. 4th and 1 jet sweep to him. Naylor should have got that first down. Kevin O'Connell gave him a chance. That was more on the execution rather than the play call. But my man, Mr. Rick Cha, saying, Pat, do me a favor. And on your way home, buy MG. Marshall Green hosts the Giants now. And new Daniel Jones crying towel with the sawbuck. LOL. I would do that. I will connect this back to the Vikings, Mr. Rick. You want to know the only team that has had a lead over the Vikings so far this season? It's the New York Giants. Just saying, Mr. Rick. But hey, I appreciate you sending $10 to get on the show. But you guys let me know. Close it out with this. Over, under 11.5 wins for our Vikings team. Give me an O for over or a U for under down below in the comments section. And also give me a follow on Twitter. That's the handle right there at Pat Sieps. Give me a follow over there. Give you guys a follow right back. But we'll see you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes.